Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm hoping we'll have a little more people trickling in. So we want to give a couple more moments, but I'll just speak slowly. I'm Shelly Harris with RunSignup. I have a long career focused on marketing, and Steve Binghamhawk is here as well, and he not only knows everything about RunSignup's products, TicketSignup, GiveSignup, but he's also has his own timing business. So he has a wealth of knowledge to share with you today. We're going to cover not only RunSignup's products, but we'll dive into kind of some general marketing areas as well. So, but we are here to help you with your events, and so that you can help them market their events to increase registrations, which then comes full circle and helps you with your business. This is actually a topic that you had asked for us to cover in the timer survey that we recently completed. So that's why we're here today. So our agenda is to cover the basics of marketing, taking a step back, looking at things strategically, and then diving into building a digital presence using RunSignup's tools, and then covering pricing strategies, and again, using RunSignup's tools to support the pricing strategies. We have a wealth of features that you can offer to your events, and then ways that you can help your events raise awareness. So let's get back to the basics. So really, these are the reasons why people do a race, or at least this is what participants have told us why they do a race. So it's not, you know, to do just to do another training run. It is to have a shared experience. Maybe it's because it's tradition or because of a holiday or what have you. A lot of them are doing it to achieve something, or for health, and to be with friends and family, or for a cause, or for joy. But these, you know, it's important to keep this in mind, because as a timer, in the ways that you're looking at to help your races, is how are they representing these types of things that races or participants are wanting from the race. So why should people register for this race versus another race? Now, this is something I think timers can really help with, especially if you're broadening the type of services that you're offering to your events. And this is actually something I start with when I consult companies is, what is your hook for this event? You know, what is the main reason why someone, or what is your big message around this race this year? What's different this year from last year? Now, it doesn't have to change every year, but you should have something new for this year. But getting back to, what is that hook? You know, is it the anniversary race? Is this their 10-year anniversary race? Or is it something that is a special cause? And why that's important is because not only do you want to use that messaging to in all your marketing materials and so forth, but then you need to look at the ways that the event is representing that message. So for instance, if it's an anniversary race, do they have special medals? Do they have a special shirt? Do they have special entertainment? What are the ways that they're representing that within the race? So if maybe they want to really push the local participants, or a loyalty program. So if it's a loyalty program, you know, are they really promoting their streakers? And that would also go with an anniversary race. But if they are then pushing or building on awareness for the local community and offering a discount program for locals, and then promoting that. So it's coming up with what is really important about this year's race, but then how are we representing that in a tangible way and making that real for participants? Because then it helps with everything that you're doing. It might lead into that you say, we need to do another course, or at least have another type of result classification that you want to score or represent and report out on. All of this kind of helps you as a timer, but also as the race director, and it helps them kind of, because there's so much you could do, but then this way you can kind of build a finite plan for the race. So that's a nice segue into building a marketing plan. Now, this isn't something that maybe you would do as a timer, but you can definitely help them define components of a marketing plan. Again, what is the differentiator and helping them, what's new about this year's race? What is it that's new that you want to communicate? And then you can offer to build their digital presence and helping them build a website or at least a registration page. And a lot of people are using RunSignup's registration page as their own website. And Steve will be covering a lot about that soon. But that's something that you could offer, and a lot of timers actually do that for their events, and you can add a fee for that, or that could be just your competitive advantage that you're offering as a service to your race. And then what are the ways that they're building awareness and excitement in the community? What are things that you can do to help them with that? And I'll talk about that towards the end of today's presentation. And then helping them to create a sense of urgency with pricing strategies. And then creating connection, encouraging that word of mouth. And word of mouth, I'm sure you all have heard, is probably the most valuable form of marketing available to you. So there's definitely things that you can encourage that through, like a referral program, through emails and so forth. And I did want to make sure that to point out, one of the basic things you can help them with is making sure that their date doesn't conflict with other prominent activities or races that are going on that weekend. So, a lot of their race directors for smaller races, they have other jobs, which I'm sure a lot of timers have other jobs, but they may not be focused on, that kind of basic thing that they want to make sure to do. And that's something you could just Google, and they would appreciate that if you found that actually that conflicts with this other big marathon. So branding basics. There's a lot that goes under branding, and branding is actually much more than just colors and logos and so forth. But for simplicity's sake, we'll just focus on those today. So one of the things I wanted to communicate is that, we see some races will change out their logos. And I would advise you that encourage your events, keep with the same logo each year, unless you're changing up because they've been around for a long time and it's become stagnant. It's important for brand recall to have that consistent look of the logo and colors. So save the money on designing a new logo. Now, a new shirt obviously is expected, but your colors for your website, your colors that's used in all your marketing materials and your logo, just keep it consistent. And then one of the things you could advise your events on doing is making sure that the colors on your website, your social media, your email, your fonts and everything are consistent, because that consistency shows a level of professionalism, but it also helps with that building that brand equity for the race. And you want people to know and build the brand recall when they start to see materials around that race, so that they can realize, oh, that's that race that I heard about. I want to look into that. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Steve.
All right, thanks, Shelly. That's a lot of good information. I think what we're going to dive into now is sort of talking about what your real estate on the web looks like when you're creating a race website on RunSignup, whether you're doing that for your timer customers or they're doing it, and you want to help make sure that they're optimizing it and using it, to its full potential. So, first, think about how websites are how the world interacts with your event, and they're up 24/7. So it's sort of like an automated PR department that's always operating. So you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, your clients, your customers are putting their best foot forward, and that it's giving an opportunity to really represent the event and engage with the participants. So what is going to make a website effective is making sure that you can get really clear, you and your team or your customers, on goals. So what are those goals that you want to achieve? First, you want to make sure that you're putting forth the right brand and encompassing what the event is all about, as kind of Shelly was talking about. Certainly you want to drive registrations and donations, actually have those transactions being processed on your RunSignup website. Providing information to the athletes, to spectators, to volunteers, so that it provides a good source of resources that they're looking for. and you want to encourage engagement. So making sure that you are putting all the information that everybody needs on race day if you're participating, but also what do the spectators need, what do volunteers need, what are the expo hours, post-event, don't think of just leading up to the event or event day, but what are results, photos, how do you get to those quickly and easily? Thinking about what value the event is bringing to those that participate and featuring all of those. So the different services or the swag that's being provided that sort of sets the race apart, those should be featured on the website. And to showcase sponsors, because there's a lot of impressions. And I want to pause here. Like, I think sometimes a registration site, especially if there's another third-party site or they're operating their own event website, the registration site gets sort of pushed to the side, right? Like, oh, we'll just do the basics and whatnot. But remember, I mean, that is the point of transaction. So you want to be thinking about how are you incentivizing the folks that are on that site ready to push that button to actually make the purchase. So it's not just a final step. It could be the step that really leads them, to sign up for the race. So some elements and tools from RunSignup to make sure that you're incorporating on your site that we make available through our features is images from your event, put together an official race video. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Include interactive course maps, so link to your Map My Run or Plot a Route or whatever whatever tool you're using, a countdown clock, price changes, highlighting fundraisers, individuals, and teams, as well as a goal thermometer, so that folks can see how the cause is due, or how they're working towards the cause's goal for this particular event. And I realize, your timers, and it seems like fundraising, that's not my thing. I don't do that for them. But think about, yes, they expect you to time the race, and that's sort of like the minimum, right? But you can be that. You can have more of those hero moments by thinking about what's really important to them. Yes, they want an accurately timed race, but in the end, the whole point of the event is for these nonprofits is to raise money. So if you're giving suggestions that leads them to that ultimate goal, you suddenly become incredibly valuable and irreplaceable when they're thinking every year about what vendors they're keeping around. Of course, our timing company is thinking about us in all 365, 24/7 ways. So, and then the other thing that you can do on our website with your RunSignup site is to build detailed pages and create drop-down menus that will categorize the information. So making things like information about the course or maybe the venue itself, like parking, directions, you can group those things together using custom content sections and then adding them as menu items, nesting them together in drop downs, which makes for a really clean and professional and helpful way for people to get what they need. So I'm going to run through some examples of some well-designed sites here. This one is a race focused on women in the arts as the theme, and Frito Kahlo is the sort of sort of theme of the arts race. And you can see they've got some really strong branding in terms of the colors and imagery, talking about the anniversary message of Girls on the Run. There's a menu bar at the top that they've customized to feature information about the event, but also how to get to results photos. And it's part of a series featuring different women in all areas of society. And so talking about those events, and then Race Joy, our interactive virtual race tool, is also being used for this event. So that's featured. Then you get to the next section, which is registration. So it's showing tiles for the 2 opportunities that you have to participate. Then a general description in that orange section. Then what do they get, how it works. This is a virtual race, so they're kind of walking through how you're supposed to actually complete the event. Then highlighting the swag that you receive. And then of course, some cross promotion. Because this is part of a series, as I mentioned, we're talking about, the other events. So when you are, helping your folks with getting their race website set up, remind them of all these things that they want to feature, and that cross promotion is really important, especially if they're engaged with putting on other events. And then here's another example. This one is a trail run, and so you can see it's got more of those earthy tones. It's got some great scenery that you would see on course. They actually are featuring an event video that they've produced to really capture the essence of what it feels like to participate. They've got more registration options here. You can see with the 5 tiles, they've included a schedule of events. But here you can see you don't have to put a ton of text on here to just draw people in. So that cover page, which I highly recommend that you enable that piece when you're setting up your race website with RunSignup, it really is to draw people in, and then you use those custom content sections and then nesting them into different groupings that get all of the details together. Then here's another example of a turkey trot. Clearly, they've done great on their color branding. You know this with the fall colors. It's a turkey event on Thanksgiving. They're featuring their social media icons right below the banner or hero image. They've got multiple, 8 different options, both individual and team ways to participate. They're talking about what the race entails, and then they were giving some action buttons for further engagement. So here I want to pause too on just sort of optimizing your race website. So obviously you're putting up all this different content and these pieces, the features and services, but do that gut check too. Like, is this a site that's easy to navigate? Is this one that is going to accomplish my goals? And I think what RunSignup, what we do really well is sort of, no matter how you're configuring all of this, like, we're going to present it in a really dynamic and effective way. But some things to keep in mind, because there are many opportunities for customization, and these sites can look very different depending on your brand and how you want to organize it. 60% of traffic on RunSignup comes from mobile devices. Remember that. So don't just use this laptop or desktop view with the landscape orientation of your website. Be sure that you're pulling up your phone as you're testing and setting this up so that you know what it looks like in portrait, because so many people are going to be using a mobile device. Think about how long does it take for someone to find the register button on your site. And so some of this comes in with colors. You can see with this example, we're using red, and that draws your eye right to the event name. And then it pops over to sign up at the top left-hand corner. And then I see my sign up buttons in red at the bottom. So obviously red is a very vibrant color. It's going to draw the eye. So, think about, do you want to use gray for a color that then hits your buttons, or do you want to use something a little bit more present and vibrant? So also keep in mind, especially if you're renewing a race from the past year, which is a very smart way to make sure that your brand stays consistent, as well as your URL not changing year after year, and that's easy to do on RunSignup. Make sure that all of the content that you brought over, your dates, your start times, your sponsors, your course maps, all of that information is updated. So comb through that, or ask somebody on your team who's extremely detailed to let them go through that. And then if you do it too for your customers and you find something that needs to be updated, again, another hero moment for you. And then just to highlight again, what event services, are you offering? So don't, make sure that these races remember to feature kind of what Shelly was getting at, which is like, what is the hook, right? And make sure that that's featured prominently on the race website, and it's not something that's buried that you have to go and look for. We also want to just mention here that an event video is really critical. And I know that used to seem like such a far reaching asset that maybe you just don't have the money for, don't have the time for, but video is where it is at. It's what stops people in scrolling. Still images are just not as effective in that. So, as much as you can find the way to do this, we recommend that you put together a really professional event video, and it can just be clips. It could be clips that people have posted to your page, or spend some money in this coming year to have somebody come out and film and put it together. Reach out to film schools so you can have somebody that might be more on your budget and they would be excited at the opportunity to experiment, and then make sure you're distributing that. Like, feature it as a content block on your RunSignup race website, and then get it on your social media. And there's really most cost-effective ways. I mentioned the film schools for the person actually filming, but you can go on to Canva and upload videos and overlay different artistic elements, logos, and other artwork that really will make it will look like you spent thousands when you spent not even $100 on the subscription, and obviously your time. And then to hark back to a point that Shelly had made, make sure that your branding is consistent across all of your digital assets, right? So it needs to, if you're using certain hero images, it might make sense to repeat those on your social media pages. Make sure that you've got a link to the actual registration page where the transactions are happening. Show continual activity. So don't let yourself go dormant for more than a week. Make sure you're posting constantly. Anything that you are emailing your folks about, like price increases, like your medal reveal, your t-shirt reveal, your athlete guide, all of those things should be featured on your social media page as well. So going back to the athlete guide, make sure that that is posted somewhere. You could easily make a custom content section on the RunSignup Race website and then use that as your static URL that you put in your social media so that people can go back to that at any time, and you can update it. So it's not a PDF that can't be modified when you find something that needs to be changed. And then another point is when you're doing ads on your social media page, you can use our custom source tracking to set up a specific URL for an individual ad. So if you're doing a special 20% discount on National Running Day, you're running an ad on Facebook, set up that unique URL with custom source tracking on RunSignup, use that URL to link to the button on your ad on Facebook, and then you will see in RunSignup in your dashboard the registrations that are coming from that specific ad. And you can even put in on RunSignup how much you spent, like $500, and then it will show you an ROI to explain, what kind of money did you bring in when you spent $500. The other thing that you're going to want to use in terms of digital presence is email V2. So you'll notice that if you try to use our legacy email, which right now in your dashboard just says email marketing, it's pushing you to V2. And that's because we are going to be sunsetting it at some point. There's just a couple more pieces that we're moving over from email marketing to email V2, and then this will be our go-to. You'll still have access to your past emails, but this is the future, and there's good reasons why. So first of all, you can send unlimited emails, as many as you want during the month. Any contacts you have, there's no limit to how many you can have. There are limits in terms of how many you can upload in per batch, but if you want to have millions of contacts in, you're able to do that. And then also bringing in historical data, so past fundraising totals or how many years they've participated, all of that can be brought in. There's no limit. While you're bringing in those lists of sort of historical participants and fundraisers and volunteers, you can also access lists that are being generated by those that are completing transactions on your race. So we call them default lists. So I can send it to all participants, or maybe only my half marathon participants, or maybe only my volunteers. So there's great ways that you can then combine those lists and say, well, I want to send it to my participants and my volunteers, but I want to exclude this custom list that I've uploaded because I'm sending a different communication to them. So there's really dynamic ways that you can do it. You can schedule it out in advance, and it's dynamic. So if you say I want to send to current participants in 2 weeks, it will take everybody up until that very last moment that the email is sent out. You can build professional and beautiful emails. You can see here this example. It's a drag and drop system where you're taking different content pieces, whether it's images, text, image collections, dividers, move them around just by dragging or clicking an arrow. The other really key piece, and I can't emphasize this enough, is the power that you have with email V2 comes from its integration with RunSignup data. So those folks that are registering and completing transactions with you, you're able to then bring in the data that they're giving, such as answers to custom questions, their giveaway, their t-shirt size, what event they signed up for, what their age is, their gender, all of these things you can then insert into your email V2, and it'll be personalized for every person that receives the email, and that's great for an athlete guide. So on Monday of race week, you need to be sending something out saying, hey, here's what I know about you. Here's your name, your age, your gender, and that's important for results, right? Here's the t-shirt that we're expecting to give you at packet pickup on Friday, and then give them a link to manage their registration, which is another data replacement tag available in email V2, so they can go in and self-serve. Man, how much that cuts out of your customer service team's responsibilities is huge. And if you're not doing that and your client's doing it, bring this to them and remind them that they can use email V2. And if you're saving them time, Again, another hero moment. We're going to get to automated emails, I think, in the next slide or two, but also just note that this is all free. There is no cost, no setup costs, no subscription fees. So for anybody who's paying for a third party like Constant Contact or MailChimp, you have the ability to remove that line item by using Email V2. So re-engagement, these are those automated emails. So if anybody has started the registration process and has at least given an email, then you can retarget them by setting up the incomplete registrations automated email. You can also use our price increase automated email as well as the registration follow-up. So maybe a week after somebody registers, you might want to remind them, hey, the fundraising goal is on September 30th. Make sure you're sharing out your fundraising link. Or, hey, did you know that you can get discounts if you get a group or team together of 5 or more people? So that's an opportunity to say, hey, we're so glad you signed up, but we've got more for you to do, but you do it in a way that gives benefits and brings even more value to them. We also have the opportunity for email capture, and that's just a box that comes on your race website, has nothing to do with any transaction, so they can just give you their info. You can continue to build your email list. And then remember to use Facebook remarketing and Google remarketing to deliver ads to visitors of your site. Another really helpful thing, and I think this has the most relevant piece of this for timers, because I use this all the time, is I will go to our quick text and QR links, and I will pull the QR code and the text link codes, and I'll put that on just a regular piece of paper in a sheet protector, and I post that near the finish line, at refreshments, at gear check. This is a way to take the lift off of your results or your awards tent, because people don't need to stand in a line and use your Chromebook to check their results because they're sitting there with a computer in their hand. So empower them, give them that QR code that they can use, to get the results. And then doesn't hurt to also put your email address on that same piece of paper with the QR code so they can email you. And maybe, you've got your head timer is 1,000 miles away in California when you've got your race in Colorado, and they can be answering those folks in real time. They don't have to be physically in that tent. The other thing to think about, especially when you're representing so many customers, timing different races, take an afternoon or evening and go to a local gym and take the QR codes for all the races that you represent and put them on a flyer and go out and hand them out to people, of course, with permission at the gym during that really busy time after work, or hit up a family festival, or talk to your local running store to see if you can go and promote races there. And again, using those QR codes makes it really easy for people to get right to the site where they can sign up. So now we're going to talk about some pricing strategies. The first thing to remember, if you walk away from this and remember nothing else, pricing is a tried and true marketing strategy. Deadlines are driving 1/5 of all registrations. So I think some people get wary of discounts and price increases because they think that it takes away the value of the event. They don't like somehow you're trying to market the event on price, not on value. And I don't think that's what's happening here. I think that these deadlines, these price increases create urgency, which Shelly had mentioned earlier. And what that does is it just gives somebody something to shoot for. It creates buzz, and it's sort of an industry standard. So use that standard to your advantage because it is so effective in getting people to sign up. Using price discounts, it will help incentivize, create sense of urgency. We covered that. So the other piece to think about is that you've got these sliding discounts. So, don't just have the one early bird, but have it multiple times throughout so that you're not front loading or back loading your discounting. Also offer money off for those that are coming with groups. So if they're signing up multiple people in one transaction, or they're doing it over several transactions, age-based pricing for those that have families and you don't want them to break the bank if they want to bring all 5 members. So the kids come in a little bit cheaper, students, and then a multi-race discount. So if you are putting on several races, or you're timing several races, and maybe you work in conjunction with them to make some sort of series that's like a spring, a summer, and a fall, get them connected with the multi-race discount, and then they can be cross-marketing to each other and helping all of the all of those events in that series succeed. And think about running clubs too. So you are able to offer discounts to the clubs that are local to the area that you're timing your event. And then automated refunds and discounts. Those are gonna help you grow teams. So teams, not so secret marketing weapon, but I think an underutilized one. So we have found that, and not just us, but I mean, Running USA came out with Running USA came out with this in their recent convention or exhibition, and they were saying how the top two reasons of why people want to participate, especially Gen Z, are the cause that it's related to, as well as the social piece of it. So make sure that you are speaking to that by offering groups and teams. It helps people to feel more inclusive. It's open to new and less experienced runners. And when it is offered, 30% of people are going to join the team. So it is of interest. People like to be connected in that way. Relay teams are a great way to appeal to a Gen Z population, so that you're making this sort of experience that is harping on the social and the competitive and the corporate pieces. And if you build it, they will come, as we like to say. The best marketer for your event is a participant that loves your event. So there's no better person, there's no ad that you can buy that is going to be more valuable than somebody who has done your event before and talks about it, or who is signed up and getting excited to participate in the future. So when you're talking about teams, it's not enough to just set it up. I mean, we make it easy in the configuration to do that, but you've got to talk about it. So do a social media post just on the value and benefits of teams, and think about the incentives you're going to offer for people so that they're continually trying to grow and add more and more people to their team. Some of those incentives can be the price breaks I was talking about, and discounts, custom team items. Maybe everybody gets their own shirt if they come in 50 or more. You're offering special sponsor swag, which gives more opportunities for impressions for your sponsors. Maybe they don't have as much cash, but they have some swag to offload, so all top teams get that specific item. Maybe you do a special, hold a special team packet pickup, or maybe you deliver their packet pickup materials to their office if they reach a certain size. Offer a special tent that all team members, all teams that get above a certain level, their members all get to go into that team hospitality area. And so I think all of these pieces are ways to sort of engage and really incentivize the teams to grow. And then just kind of pause on this, on the pricing and automated refunds. So I think what's great is your ability, and we'll use this example. So if you're trying to offer and encourage people to get a team of 5 or more members, and then they'll save $5, then you can set it up such that the first 4 members are going to pay the full price, but at 5, once the 5th person joins, they're going to get a discount. And an automated refund can be set in place so that the 4 people that got them to that 5 person threshold, they're going to get a refund back. So it's incentivizing people, let's get to that 5. I'm going to get the refund for those first 4 people. And then everybody after that is going to continue to receive that discount. All right, so referrals, another sort of secret weapon that, again, I think is underutilized. And so what are referrals? Well, it's a way to empower your registrants to go out and share the fact that they've registered, and then earn credit for bringing other people to the race. So it's going to create a unique URL for each one of your registrants. And every time somebody uses that unique URL, they're going to receive, we're going to track that, and then it can be paired with rewards. So the reason that we encourage referrals is they don't lie. So the numbers don't lie. The 6% of our 2022 transactions were from referrals. And a really powerful number here, that 98 cents. So that's the CPA for each new registration via referral rewards. So if anybody, either you are marketing your events or your customers, they know that you're spending not 98 cents, but somewhere between $20 and $30 on Facebook in terms of CPA. So this is a much more cost-effective way to bring in people and help you save money. And just a note here that we have seen folks that have been really aggressive with their referral campaigns to get as high as 25% of their transactions coming from referrals. And just like with groups and teams and pricing related to those, you can't just enable it. Of course, you need to have that structure and the tool in place and ready to go, but you need to be communicating about it. So do social media posts, do a special email that's highlighting it. Put this in your registration follow-up automated emails in RunSignup so that people are reminded of that regularly. Just to give some more examples of how people are using these. So if you get if you refer 5 friends, you're getting a $25 refund. You get 10 friends, you're going to get a special piece of swag. And then once you get up to 20 friends, you're getting into this VIP tent. So really what's effective is that you have a high threshold and a high reward. So we recommend somewhere between 3 to 5 referrals equates to a $15 plus refund. And we want you to stack those. So again, you're using some money back. That's probably the most motivating and most incentivizing. And then after that, maybe the next level is a swag piece, and then the next one is maybe even more money back. And keep in mind, here's another example where there's like additional swag and money back. And keep in mind that not everybody is going to reach these points where they're going to get the refund or they're going to get the swag item. And it's not that we don't want them to succeed, you do. But we just know from looking at the data that they're going to shoot for 5, but they might get 2 or 3. And then you're not out any refund, only to those that have reached that threshold. And I promise you that the value, you might refund 3 people, but you'll look at and see that you brought in 200 people from referrals. I mean, you cannot beat those numbers with any other marketing tools or purchase that you might make. So if you're not doing referrals, that's probably another big takeaway for today, is make sure you're enabling those. All right, well, I'm going to turn things back over to Shelly and talk about building awareness.
Great, thank you, Steve. That was great. I did want to say, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the questions control panel, and we'll be happy to answer those along the way. But we are wrapping up, so if you after we get through our last session here, or section, sorry. Okay, so as Steve was saying, you can build all these great pricing strategies, but unless they know about it, they're just not going to work. So to make it, to communicate and re-communicate. So I would suggest, if you know that you're having a price increase, I've talked to several race directors about this, but they tend to do maybe 2 to 3 emails letting them know that it's coming up. And then, but recognize that there's so much going on in every person's world, and they're being inundated with communications and so forth. So making sure to communicate things in multiple ways. So have a mix of communication from your website to social media to your email, all the different touch points that you have with a participant. If you have something, big like the referral program and so forth, just make sure that your events are communicating them in multiple ways. So just to kind of back up, one of the things you can help your races with is identifying how do participants find out about the event, and then helping them to be aware of it so they can spread that word of mouth. Okay, sorry, that was a quick one. So this is kind of a checklist of just standard promotion opportunities that you could potentially help your race, or even if you produce your own events, obviously you would do that on your own behalf. But race calendars, that's a standard. So that's that's a must. It's like the table, it's the legs on the table. So making sure that your events are listed on race calendars. Then there's the old school with the flyers and postcards and, handing them out on cars and at community connections, which I'll cover in just a moment. Making sure that you have strong SEO for Google searches, traditional ads, depending on if your events have that marketing budget. Digital ads are much more affordable. So that's something to look into at Facebook or Google. And then this earned promotion with local promotion. This is something that I actually feel like, people don't realize is so easy to do, because your local TV stations and local newspapers are actually looking for local news. And they typically, all the TV stations will have either an email address, a news email address, submit news, or phone number. And then likewise with the local newspapers, you can figure out who the editor is in charge of that section of the paper, and you can email and pitch a story. So this comes back to that whole hook that I started with. If you have an anniversary race or some big thing that's happening with your event, with that differentiator or something new, that's what you would lead the pitch with. And it could just be a quick paragraph of, this is our 20th year, our 15th year, and we're hosting this, and we're having this band or what have you, or we have this, even small things that you can share about, that there's this after party and we're hosting these sponsors. We invite you to come and see us. You'll be surprised that people actually will show up. And as Steve was saying, you'll be the hero to the race, that you got the local community to show up. And it doesn't really take much effort, but it's definitely something that's easy to achieve and would be great for the race. And then email marketing, which I'll cover momentarily. Okay, so race calendars. I thought this was interesting. The first area on this over to the left of the screen shows when people, register for events, and the longer the distance, the longer out that they will register for them. So make sure that you get the listings posted as soon as possible. Now, there are some tools that you can use, like the event.com and Race Directors Hub, to help you get events listed. But RunSignup actually does a lot to integrate with online listings. So you've got a good coverage there. But I definitely would double check and make sure that if there's local listings, special local listings, like on Facebook events and things like that, that's something that you could potentially do to help your events get listed. And again, it all comes back to you, that if they have higher registrations, then you also have higher revenue for your time or business. And then community connections. This is something that events can get really creative with, and I've seen some really great examples of this. But using these connections to use traditional marketing like flyers and even email and signage and things, but at the very least working with the sponsors of the event. So if a sponsor is contributing dollars to raise awareness, you can work with them to likewise raise awareness for the event. So it's a win-win. If you can give them custom emails that they can send to their employees, offer a discount, give a QR code that they get a special coupon, and it's just free marketing, and it's free awareness for your event. So definitely sponsors, at the very least, I would look at what is the cross-promotion opportunity there. And then running stores and local running clubs. You may own your own running store, or you partner with somebody that has a running store, making sure to not only promote those races that you may produce yourself, but those that you time and provide services to, making sure that there's flyers out or signage out, so that when people are checking out, you can also include a QR code. So if you for easy registration, but you could also work with local running clubs and say, I'll give a discount if you promote this race, and again, have that QR code go to a coupon or a discounted registration rate, so that anybody that makes a purchase, they can get a reduced registration rate. And it could be just a small amount, but that helps motivate them to promote your race. And then schools, churches, nonprofits, and charities. All this fundraising opportunity is just that it's a wonderful, great opportunity for cross promotion. So working with the different fundraising organizations and asking them to also communicate and promote your event. So if it's a church and they have a newsletter, you can ask for a free ad space, because they're using the event as a fundraising opportunity. So that is definitely, it's free marketing, it's powerful. So anytime that you have a fundraiser component, going to them to see what ways we can cross promote is definitely key and very effective. And then local events, if there's any type of fall festival or other festivals and so forth, having a booth there to help promote. And then other race expos having, you know, a booth as well. And then media, radio, and TV, which we covered previously. And then this just shows you using that QR code that you could have signs and so forth, and using RunSignup's technology that Steve was covered earlier, and making use of that and promoting that in the materials. It just makes everything easier for registration. And then an email drip campaign. So again, using the version 2 that Steve was covering earlier to help communicate and build that awareness. So from the incomplete registration, you know, for those that abandon their carts, to communicating price increases, to all that follow-up information, to encourage the fundraising and also growing their teams and everything. This can all be automated, and you can also promote your other events or, you know, any future registrations and so forth. But and I know many of the timers may not be doing this on behalf of your events, but making sure that they are actually doing it. And it's just one of those other kind of checklist things that you can talk to your events about. And then just as a recap, and I'm trying to see if there was any questions. It looks like we're okay. So as a recap, the tools that you have available at RunSignup, and there's a lot of tools at RunSignup, as I'm sure most of you know that. But in regards to marketing, you know, the website builder is just amazing. There's so many things that you can do with that, and it's free. And then the different pricing features that we covered today, from, you know, and discounts and so forth. All of these great tools you have at your disposal to help support your events. The teams and group features, the referral program, the fundraising, and the custom email, and it's all free. So there's no added charge for all of these tools. And at the end of the day, it's a win-win for everybody, because as we get more participants, then the race is more successful, and so are you. So with that, we will close to see if there's any questions. I think the one question we have is, will there be a recording of this? Yes, there will be a recording. Anybody that's registered for this will be sent the recording, and we'll also be publicizing it as well. So I do want to communicate that our next Timer Tip Tuesday is next week on March 28th. We'll be covering the RaceJoy. It's actually a certification refresher on RaceJoy. So if you are already certified in RaceJoy and you haven't used it in a while, this is a really good class for you. It will be a shortened version of our traditional certification program. Now, if you're a timer and you haven't been certified in RaceJoy and you want to, we actually have, you can do that by going to the timer area on RunSignup's website, and there's actually a whole page now of instructions on how to get certified in all of our certification programs. So I think we covered everything. Steve, is there anything else that we should maybe finalize?
No, I think that was good, but I think, you know, just a reminder too that, you know, you should always reach out to your account manager if you have any questions, if there's any tools that you saw here that, you know, you feel like you want to do a deeper dive in, or want to see how it really works with a particular race and do some testing together. I mean, we love doing that stuff. Like we want to make you all successful, bring in your timing customers, and we'll do it together with them. And if you don't know who your account manager is, reach out to info@runsignup.com and they'll get you connected.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Your account managers are definitely here to help you through all this and any setup things, and if you want to have them review it to make sure it's done correctly. Also, in the knowledge base of our website, there's a great deal of information there. You can search for by topic to see how-tos. We also have webinars on our YouTube channel that you can, on most everything that we covered today, there's all how-tos on each topic. So feel free to look at that as well, and obviously join us for future webinars. We'd love to have you there. So, but with that, thank you very much, everybody, for attending, and we hope to see you at the next Timer Tip Tuesday.
Bye, everyone.
Can you reach it up there? I got it. Oh, hi. we lost a balloon. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Click the notification bell and then all, and press the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you. We'll catch you next time. Brian, I don't know how much longer I can hold this.